action. Here's a fun fact. Even if no one ever watches these videos, I'm still going to be making them.
Don't you worry about a thing. All your sweating beats of gold. Exponential in the growth. Power in the south of soul.
My question is, why are you on this journey? If it's causing you that much stress, it's causing you that much pain and grief, why are you on this journey? Speaking for myself and some people I've observed close to me, we kind of get on this journey to be seen. It's not to do the work. We just find this work is a way that we enjoy, and this work also happens to end up being in some sort of public eye. You know what I mean? It's like Martin Luther King choosing civil rights because that's how he gets noticed versus being noticed because of the work he does in civil rights. You feel me on that difference? It's truly different. And when we're in this work, it takes a long ass time. It's not just a job, it's a fucking lifestyle. Art isn't something you retire from. You know what I'm saying? Art is something you do for your entire life. And if it stresses you out now to get to your idea of success, do you think about what kind of stress it's going to take, the kind of toll on your health it's going to take to maintain that success once you get it? If the process was stressful, then holding on to that shit is going to be even more stressful. You feel? So what can we do to make it an enjoyable process? Number one, why are you in it? Are you in it because you want people to notice you? Because that's going to be a losing battle. I'm going to keep it real with you. Are you doing it because you want money? Art is a business. It's a lifestyle. But anything which involves making money is going to be a business. If you don't like the business aspect of things, guess what you need to do? Not stop, no. But you need to, if you said find someone who likes the business part, that's absolutely it. Build the team. Now, the thing is, a lot of people have really fucking cool art. You have a lot of cool art. I have a lot of cool art. But we think that building the team means going for the people who are already up in the high places and getting access to all of that. But it's not about getting access to what's already going on in the industry. It's about creating a world which has a gravitational pull that makes people be like, yo, this motherfucker's cool as shit. He's not big yet, but he's going to be. Like, people can sense when you're going to be big, and it's not just because you have good art. It's the whole vibe. And let me tell you something about stress. Nobody wants to be around people who are stressed all the time. I live out in LA, and it's so interesting to watch people go through these stressful situations because of what they perceive being in this arena tells them about themselves. You know what I mean? They're willing to sacrifice their health. They're willing to sacrifice the beauty of life for the wants of the ego. And this shit is crazy to watch, man. And and what's even crazier is to realize that you were part of that. I absolutely was a fucking part of that. And like, you look at my socials, you look at all that stuff, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? But like I said at the beginning, I'll be making these videos even if no one's watching, because I enjoy it. I want to put this stuff out there, man, because I know that based off my experiences and observations, it can help people. It could help you if you're down to hear what I'm saying and down to receive it. Some people aren't down, but I started out posting more on TikTok, just like stuff of who I am. It's just baby steps, man. It's not all coming at once, and that's going back to the team. You're not gonna land Derek Jeter when you're building up your minor league team. You know what I'm saying? And that's not disrespectful. You got to understand that we're keeping it real. This tea is fresh. This tea is hot. So I'm gonna stop holding it. It's not being disrespectful. It's just being real. Being disrespectful would be saying, yeah, your music is not good enough to get big, which is not what I'm saying. I think everybody's music is good enough to get big. You can hear music that's huge now that I think is pretty flat when it comes to the energy. There's not really a message. And just, the marketing behind it was good. And it is a little infectious. So to each their own, but it's that judgment too that creates stress in this process. The judgment of, oh, my music is better than their music. Why don't I? No, we don't need to do that in this process because it's art. Art is subjective. Art is expression. Art is meant to be enjoyed through the process. It just happens that the American mentality, the capitalist mentality was like, oh, we can make some bank off this, so fuck it, let's do it. I have my laptop here because I wrote some stuff last year, and I was trying to make this really nice manicured video. It just ended up, I put too much pressure on myself. And that's another thing about this journey, putting too much pressure on yourself, man. Just do it. You're going to learn either way, whether it's perfect, whether it's what you would consider hot garbage. If you put it out there, you've put it out there. And that's a muscle that you practice, that you exercise. Putting it out there, putting it out there, putting it out there. And then you start learning how to put it out there better and put it out there better. And, part of putting things out there is your capacity to receive feedback. If you have a low capacity to handle other irrelevant people's opinions, are you ready for millions of people to be dropping comments on your music? Even if they're disrespectful, even if they're encouraging, are you ready? Are you physically, emotionally ready for that kind of visibility? You think you're stressed now. Just imagine at that level. A lot of people think that achieving these external things are going to bring them peace of mind and ease, when really whatever you're struggling with at this level, it's just going to compound at the next level unless you spent the time building your capacity, which is what I talk about on TikTok. I've gotten really into the science of change. And not only resetting your nervous system, but also reparenting yourself. It all comes down to your childhood. It all, you're a baby artist. You might be a baby artist or a teenage artist right now. But it comes down to that. How are you taught how to live? How are you taught to navigate through the world? Art is so much more than just business, which is something that you recognize. But while it is so much more than just business, it does involve business, and it does involve visibility, and it does involve marketing, and it does involve strategy, and it does involve intentionality. You can't just throw something out there and be like, hey, why isn't this taking off? We live in the world that we live in. Getting mad that we live in a capitalist world is like getting mad that we have to breathe oxygen. It just is what it is right now. Now, obviously, people... I'm a person who wants to move away from that. I do a lot of trade. I don't always need money for services. If we trade something, that's cool as long as the value is equated in our opinions. Trading is fun. Trading is really cool. Trading is also, it feels more personal. You're like, oh, here's $100, or it's like, oh no, I'll trade you this merch for this merch, and it's like, oh cool, hey, it just feels a little more intimate to be trading the thing that you worked on for something else that someone else worked on. But anyway, let me find, it's called The Craft. And it talks about how growing up, I was super, I had mentioned, I'm in LA now, and I came out here for a creative opportunity. But, to be honest, I was also infatuated with the glitz and the glam of the culture like that. That was my definition of cool, was celebrity. Even though I grew up around a bunch of really fucking dope local artists. We'll go to these trunk sales, we'll meet people who've been on the road, but they worked at the local music shop. They lived in LA and then came back to North Carolina. And I didn't get it at first, but having been out here, you start realizing there's so much more to life than the allure and the shiny shit. Because you scratch through the shiny shit real quick, and you realize that underneath the shiny, it is just kind of shit. And there's very little fulfillment. But yeah, I think the big thing for me has been the reworking of the relationship with music, because I knew I had to do it. And it's been about 6 years of reworking my relationship. And I guess I can make a video about that if you're interested. But art is a relationship. It's a relationship with you and your ability to express what's in you. And the things I was expressing were getting filtered by my ego of what I thought would be cool or perceived as cool. And it wasn't always like that. There were a few moments that really just kind of layered on top of each other to make my art experience and relationship the way that it was like that. But what really helped was, to be honest, spirituality. And this isn't the idea of like God, although if that's what you got, to each their own. It's more just getting to know myself, getting to know who is myself. This body, whose body is it? If I say mine, who is mine? And really starting to just break away from the physical realms. And that's what timeless art is about too. It's about those energetic universal truths. That's why these songs can last from the 60s all the way to now, from the 40s, the 30s all the way to now. That's why some of the songs in the 2000s, you listen to them and you're like, what is this? It's because it was about the materialism. It wasn't about the deeper truths of being a being, living life. So I just want to take a second and read a little bit of this. A lot of us trying to get money out of art are taking a natural creative energy from the very beginning of the process, distorting it with survival instincts of ego and capitalism. We become burnt out, disappointed, even jaded to the point of losing the joy and love we felt for the craft in the first place. This doesn't have to be the case. Now that you're reading this, now that you're watching this video, you'll never be able to go back to living or thinking that way. Your journey will take detours, but it'll be worth it. And is it even a detour if you're learning what you need to learn? Mine has been about, like I said, 6 years, and now the views are breathtaking. Not too much has changed externally, but reality is slow, right? It's the inside, it's the perception. Life is perception. So as the perception changes, even if the external hasn't changed, you start understanding how beautiful the life you have is, how grateful you are to even have this chance to exist in the way that you want. And lately I've been having these crazy dreams where I've been kind of reclaiming all the moments in my past as a kid where my dreams were kind of shot down, or I didn't feel heard or seen. I wake up from a dream having like yelled at a teacher or having an argument with my mom or something, and coupled with that, I feel this real deep sense of, oh no, you got this. Oh, you capable of this. So it's that deconditioning, it's that shedding away. Anyway, so those detours, it'll be worth it. You'll not only love the craft again, but you'll start to see that your dedication pays out in ways that checks can't. And that's when the checks start coming in. You're not AI. So I'm not going to get into this part of it. I'll post it on Substack and you can read it if you're interested. I'll link it below. But when we think about AI, the most beautiful thing about AI is that it's creating this demand to realize and experience what it means to be human again. And if your art talks about what it means to be human, I am of the idea that eventually we'll have humanoids. I genuinely believe that. You can call me nuts. I don't care. Like, people will be robots and having little robot humanoid babies. I mean, you see it with the Industrial Revolution, we've created the body, we have the mechanics, AI, we've created the sentience, and then next thing you know, it's going to be able to start creating itself, and it's going to be a whole new species. And then you have that movie, that robot girlfriend thing. Like, it's going to be a thing, man. It's going to be a thing. And in that realm where we have this new kind of hybrid species, there's going to be a sect, and we already see it with social media and people getting off it. But what is it about the human experience that makes it the human experience? People are looking for something deeper. We've had social media and the internet for long enough to understand that it has positive and negative impacts, and the negative impacts, how do we mitigate those? And it's the same with our relationship with anything. It basically, our relationship with the internet, our relationship with each other, our relationship with AI, our relationship with our art. There's positive and there's negative. How do we turn these negatives into learning experiences? How do we use the distractions as guides and reminders? Like, you're trying to get off your phone more, right? So to do what? Why do you want to get off your phone? To read more. Okay. So now when I pick up my phone, I think about reading. And I'm not doing it in a judgmental way. I'm not thinking, oh, I should be reading. I'm trash because I'm not reading. No, we're on our phone and it's like, oh, I'm reading. Yeah, let me go read. And it's change. Change doesn't happen overnight, right? Change is slow and steady progress. And, there's elements. I had to admit to myself that I was not dopamine. Is it dopamine? Yeah, dopamine addict. That shit was hitting. That was hitting. And but once you become aware of it, now it's in your focus and you can do something about it. But if you're not aware of it, you can't really be doing anything about it. So I'll skip that AI part, but I do want to talk about how, the seedling of direction that could grow in infinite ways. You're the one who's asked to tend to the seed and nurture it to its fullest form. You're the shepherd. In fact, you'll die maybe never seeing its full form. If you're luckier than Emily Dickinson or Van Gogh, perhaps you'll see the work impact the world. But at the end of the day, if our intention is externally focused to create impact, and we have this period of, let's say, 10 years, where before we're actually making an impact, we make no impact, but our intent is to make an impact, we're going to be frustrated. So it's really about, did you impact yourself? How did you impact yourself? What was it like? Make it as an experiment. Be curious. Remain curious about this whole thing. When impact becomes the intent, we stop focusing on being a nurturer and start seeing ourselves as a benefactor. We start to shape the seed in a way that we think will bring success. No longer are we interested in exploring what shapes the seedling of an idea wants to take. We see it as a means to an end. Our nature as loving caretaker has been distorted by attachment. We seek the outcome, not the experience of the input. And the latter is where life and creativity reside. So, each one of us approaches our craft differently, but it is truly like caretaking. In the book Scattered Minds by Dr. Gabor Mate, he talks about what goes unresolved in the heart of the parent as the root of dysfunction in the child. And a lot of the reason I got into this kind of work, not only with myself, but with other people, is because the idea of the suffering artist is so unfair to the artist, bro. The idea that art can only be good if it's intensely painful. What makes good art is that it's emotional. Happiness, sadness, joy, anger, whatever kind of emotions, confusion, just that it's emotional. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to come from your suffering. And in fact, I see some friends who their art creates this echo chamber of suffering. And they try to get lost in this sad sauce. While the source of our pain can fuel powerful art, what goes unresolved in the artist's heart affects the way that we experience the path of an artist. So if you're looking for art to be a means to an end, the journey will be arduous and unpleasant. Fear will guide your path, and the laws of attraction will reflect back to you a life that may look good but feel flat. Again, the shiny versus what's underneath. But walk the path with curiosity, dedication, and an open heart, and the journey will by no means be easy, but it will be vibrant, full of contrasts and paradoxes that make life awe-inspiring and creation deeply provocative. So, I don't know. To each their own, but it's really kind of my part of my art to help other artists and just to help people understand that we're so guided by pain. What would it be like if we were to be guided by our truest passion, our heart, and our passion, our heart's passion, and our ego can combine. You know, like for me again, art, I do think, is my passion, but the ego was like, yo, okay, this is how we got to do it though, and remaining open and curious to how it comes about is part of the fun. It's part of the creativity. We are not alone in this journey. There's so much more. Like right now I'm watching this tree move, but the tree's not moving by itself. It's the wind. There's so much that we can't see that affects us. There's so much that coincidence, circumstance, luck, fortune. There's so much in this energetic sphere that's working either with us or against us, depending on how the energy within us is doing. We are kind of this medium between the realm of ideas and energy, and through us, they become manifest. And it's really interesting. But you don't need to be stressed on your creative journey. In fact, the creative journey is full of challenges that really bring about an honest portrayal of who you are as a person, who you are as a being, what kind of energy you contain. And so having an ideal vision, being honest about where you are, and then just considering what needs to happen for closing the gap. Maybe it's finding that person who likes the business side of things. Maybe it's understanding that people want to be involved in a world. You're not just selling product. As an artist, you're creating this world that people want to be a part of. There's so many different things and different approaches to take that make this journey fulfilling and fun. But it does take work. It does take work. And if you're in a place at the moment where work sounds hard or a lot, we got to address the nervous system. And that we can get into that in another video. But one thing that I like to do, besides meditate, is to shake. Just to shake. It really, it's somatics. The body holds on to so much. So if you're not incorporating a movement practice in your life, try shaking. I just do it for like 5 or so minutes, and I just focus on my breath while I do it. But yeah, release that energy, shake things up, literally and figuratively, and enjoy the process. That's what it's about. If you enjoy the process, no matter what comes, you'll enjoy life.